What is happening, y'all? Welcome back to the Media Goose channel. It's your friend Ryan, the Media Goose, and the goose is loose, baby. I am here today to talk about Monday Night Raw. It was a solid episode of Raw. It did not start as hot as the last few WWE shows have, but that's all right. I think it's hard to nail that kind of high energy feeling every week, but SmackDown had that hot start, Raw had a hot start, so I'm not shocked that this wasn't like an electric start to the show, but it was solid. So we start with Pierce going to the ring, and I don't know what to think of this. I feel like since Seth is back, we can drop the masked man thing. I don't want that being like a motif of his character going forward. I feel like that part of the story is done, so it should be left behind now. It got pretty convoluted there, and I think continuing to show the masked men will only continue the criticism you get for it, because also it's kind of like a crutch in terms of the way it's being used in storytelling. I thought last night looked way cornier than they probably intended it to look. Seth, I like him not being like the Joker. I like the architect version of Seth, the more intense version of Seth, but let's not try to make this masked man thing more than it was, because you got a lot of criticism for it already. But then the Vision comes out, Seth does another sleight of hand and disappears within the masked men. Then the Usos and LA Knight come out, and that's about that. Same people that have been involved in the segments that were hot, but this was just much less exciting. So then we get to the women's gauntlet match for the number one contendership to the Women's Intercontinental Champion AJ Lee, and this was a stellar match. Really excellent. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Starting with Lyra and Io was really great. I felt like those two could have a world title match that could get to a 5-star match with how good they both are in ring. Io is one of the 3 best performers alive in wrestling right now, in my opinion. And I think Lyra, it's funny they paired her with Bayley, and I've made this comparison before, but she's got a lot of Bayley in her. With her excellent in-ring stuff, her ability to do, I think she'll be able to do heel when the time comes, and I kind of think it's coming soon. I'm ready for Lyra to be a heel. But it was a really fun start. Of course, Io moves on, and then Raquel comes in. Raquel and Io have a lot of chemistry. The energy behind Io in this whole segment was just crazy. Like, she's a superstar, legit. Like, she's bigger than a wrestler. She is crazy over. And she ends up, I think, rolling up Raquel. Is that what happened? It was a quick ending, however it ended up finishing, and Raquel attacked Io after the bell rang, leading to Ivy running down and pinning Io immediately. This was good because it makes, it protects Io getting pinned, but it also made Ivy look pretty good. Ivy just pinned Io Sky. Ivy, I know she's in incredible shape always, but I feel like she's getting even bigger, like putting on muscle. She looked really good here. Ivy continues to improve the more opportunities she gets, and she should be really proud, man. She's really putting in the effort to continue improving. And then Bayley is in. She ends up getting, I don't remember what happened with her and Ivy, but that was a fun exchange between Bayley and Ivy. Then Asuka's last, and Bayley ends up winning. I think Bayley and AJ Lee is a genuine dream match and should be stellar next week. I hope they don't go the route of all of these participants interfere and then it leads to a multi-women match. Let these two go out and have like a 4 to 5 star match because they can. Then we've got Gable as Americano backstage with Danhausen, and he is cursed. It's funny to see the differences in Gable's character now versus when he debuted as Americano. And it's funny now that I watch AAA, seeing the AAA stuff and the WWE stuff interlap, how Kaiser wears a black mask when he's in America, but Gable wears a black mask when he's in Mexico. There's a lot of great things being done with this story that it's rewarding the fans for watching both sides of the story. And then after he cursed him, you do see Ryo and Bravo, Pete, and Bate sneaking up behind, which leads to Kaiser going out for the Intercontinental title match instead of Gable. So the curse again works. Gable got cursed and then he got jumped. You could argue he was going to get jumped anyway, but who can say, you know? One thing that really bothered me in the Kaiser Penta match, Penta cut a good promo, by the way. I have never in my life heard a ref calling a match. I've heard wrestlers call a match. I've heard refs say things that are instruction to wrestler, but never calling a match. And I heard this ref calling it, and it was terrible. It really took me out. I think his name is Eddie Arango. I've never heard a referee calling a match before. Get your shit together, dude. That really was bad, in my opinion, and took me out. I don't know if that's on him, if that's on WWE production, but I've genuinely never experienced that watching WWE, and I prefer not to. Let's see. So then the Judgment Day ends up coming out. Dirty Dom wants his rematch. Then Finn comes out, and the tension is high. And eventually Finn says, man, maybe you really are just a spoiled little prick. And he pie faces Finn, and Finn turns on him the same way he turned on, who was it, Adam Cole? I think it was Adam Cole in NXT, or was it Gargano? I don't know. But Finn did that same Pele kick fake out heel turn in NXT, but now he does it to turn face. I love this for Finn. I'm a little surprised to see JD staying with the Judgment Day, but that's fine too. Send Finn off on his own. I like that. Then we go to a backstage segment between Javon and Kofi. And Grayson Waller comes up and tries to get all aggressive with Javon, and Kofi, like, big brothers him and is like, no, get the hell out of here. Get Waller out of this. He never should have been involved with New Day. And it, frankly, diluted and watered them down more than WWE already has. But I think this would be really cool, man. I know Javon is over, but if you got no plans to put a title on him soon anyway, why not give him a heel run? The heel run that Breaker did in NXT, the heel run that Trick did in NXT before he come up. I think having a heel run is really important for young baby faces, young wrestlers. And man, if you did Kofi, Woods, and Javon, whoo! You bring back Big E as a heel manager? Come on, man. I think they could have something going there. And Javon has a cool factor to him. I would love to see Javon in a cool heel faction, so I think that could work if they wanted to go there. Then we've got Oba and Rusev, and my only disappointment is how short it was. There's a lot of good stuff. Also, I was disappointed with how fucking long it took for the match to start, with all of the advertisements and crap happening. It was so annoying. But again, it was a lot of the giant stuff you'd expect, but it was like 3 minutes. Could we not have given 10 minutes and not done all of that preamble before the match? So this was fine, but if this was NXT, it would have been a 15-minute match, and it would have been a banger. It would have been like Keith Lee and Dijakovic. But instead, you gave them 3 minutes for Oba to squash Rusev. This was really uninspired in my opinion, and I honestly hope Rusev attacks Oba backstage, prompting a follow-up match where they are allowed to go like 10, 12, 13, 14 minutes. Protecting a giant is not only putting him in squash matches. Him and Rusev could have a really fun match, and I'm sorry if that means he has to sell, but that's part of the gig. So, we'll see. Then, main event time, it's Punk coming out, and the whole beginning of the segment, I was praying that the Usos were going to jump him. Earlier in the night, there was a backstage promo for the Usos where I think it was Jackie Redmond was like, "Do you have anything to say to CM Punk?" And Jimmy was like, "You know what? Yeah, we do." And it showed them, instead of leaving, staying there. The beginning of the promo for Punk is talking about the heat over what he said. Talking about how Roman doesn't respect him, so why is he expected to show respect? Then the Usos come out. And I love, like, hot, angry Jey Uso. It's the best Jey Uso. And then Jimmy, because Jimmy is a better promo than Jey, like, categorically in every way. Frankly, Jimmy's better than Jey at every single thing a wrestler does. He's a better promo. He's better in ring. He is literally, like, everything Jey is not. Everything they've wanted Jey to be, Jimmy is. And it's kind of sad to see them back relegated to a tag team. And it kind of feels like Jimmy's never going to get his solo run when he's the better Uso. And Jey screaming in his face he wants an apology. Then Jimmy brings up the fact, you say you're the voice of the voiceless, and then you go at my uncle, Sika. He doesn't have a voice, so you need to apologize. So you got these two, like, they're like the two wolves within you. Jey is hot and fiery and exploding, and then Jimmy is cold and calculating. It was really good. And Punk, for back-to-back weeks now, he has made Jericho references. If it was once, I could have given it the benefit of the doubt that it wasn't intentional. It's back-to-back weeks. It's intentional. And the most iconic feud that I can think of for Jericho in, like, his later WWE run, it's either Kevin Owens or it's Punk. So I think this is setting the groundwork for a Chris Jericho return. Rumors are that AEW is blocking him from coming over because of his time away. So we might have to wait until Tony Khan allows Jericho to leave, which, like, he kind of helped find your company and give you a top star to start your company with, and now you're not letting him leave. Kind of fucked up, but Tony Khan won't get criticized for it because the internet glazes AEW and kind of doesn't really hold them accountable for anything. But eventually Punk says, "I'm sorry." And he's like, "I'm sorry that Roman treated y'all like shit and you were cool with it. I'm sorry that he never apologized to y'all and you were cool with it." And that's real. I love Ice Cube's son, but he's got some of the worst wrestling takes I've ever seen on Twitter. He was saying that Roman already apologized to these guys. Get the fuck out of here. No, he did not. That fucking build to War Games where Roman never apologized to anybody is one of the worst story moments in WWE history. There should have been a whole fucking drawn out week-to-week thing of Roman having to go apologize to people and fucking take accountability for how he abused them, and they never did. They skipped all of that to have a fucking War Games match. It was awful. So Punk was right here. They allowed Roman to get away with all of that without ever holding him accountable. And he said, if Roman actually respected y'all, he'd be here instead of sending his young boys out to run me down. And they end up getting in a pushing match that ends with Punk on his ass. And you hear Punk on the mic in the ring go, I guess I deserved that. I really loved this. The Usos back to Bloodline Uso feeling. Man, that was excellent. I said that the Bloodline needed to reform as heels for this story to go where it needed to go, and I might have been right. I honestly feel like Roman will come back next week and tell the Usos to stay out of his business, kind of proving Punk right. Going like, see, he's not even thanking y'all for coming out here and standing up for his father's legacy. He's telling you to mind your damn business because he doesn't respect you. So I think it could be interesting if, I mean, you've got the Usos as baby faces feuding with the Vision, and then you have the Usos kind of as heels supporting Roman against Punk. I don't think there's a way to do this. But before Punk went out for that Chicago match with Balor, Paul Heyman was in the background of the shot. I said in my predictions to Elimination Chamber that it would be really cool if CM Punk ended up... Oh no, I think I said it would be cool if he ended up as the lead heel in the Judgment Day, but in this scenario, what if he were the lead heel in the Vision? And then it's the Usos and Roman versus Punk, Theory, and Logan Paul. And I know that's kind of like, where does that leave Seth? What if Seth tries to insert himself and make it a triple threat because he has connections to both of those factions? I don't know. I think they've got a lot of options right now with how they do this, and that's kind of exciting. I think Punk is doing his best work on the mic of late, and I didn't hate that Roman wasn't there this week because of the really interesting story beat they executed. So I'm excited to see Roman come back next week and see what happens. Are they going to lean into the idea that the Bloodline might reform as heels, or are they going to maybe tease that Roman will still not apologize to his family and they might side with Punk? So I'm excited to see where this goes on the road to Mania. Let me know your thoughts down below about Monday Night Raw, and I will see you in the next video. The Goose is out. Ha!